Abuse is about power and control. It happens when someone tries to hurt, scare, or control another person. This can be a partner, a family member, or someone else. Abuse is never okay. There are many types of abuse. Each type can have serious, long-lasting effects on the victim. Recognizing the signs of abuse is crucial for seeking help and breaking free from the cycle of violence. Abuse can happen to anyone, regardless of age, gender, race, or background. It's important to remember that abuse is never the victim's fault. If you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, please remember that you are not alone and help is available. Abuse can take many forms, each leaving its own devastating mark on the victim. It is a pervasive issue that affects individuals across all demographics, regardless of age, gender, or socio-economic status. It's important to understand the different types of abuse, to recognize the signs and seek help. Awareness and education are the first steps toward prevention and intervention. Physical abuse involves causing physical harm or injury to another person. This can manifest in various ways, from visible bruises and cuts to more severe injuries that require medical attention. This can include hitting, kicking, slapping, biting, or any other form of physical violence. The impact of physical abuse is not only immediate, but can also lead to long-term health issues and psychological trauma. Emotional abuse is designed to control and manipulate the victim through verbal attacks, humiliation, and threats. It often involves a pattern of behavior that erodes the victim's self-esteem and sense of worth. This type of abuse can be just as damaging as physical abuse, leaving deep emotional scars. Victims may experience anxiety, depression, and a host of other mental health issues as a result. Sexual abuse involves any unwanted sexual contact or behavior. It is a deeply violating experience that can have profound and lasting effects on the victim's mental and emotional well-being. This can include rape, sexual assault, or any other form of sexual coercion or exploitation. Survivors of sexual abuse often require extensive support and counseling to heal from their trauma. Neglect occurs when someone fails to provide for the basic needs of another person, such as food, shelter, clothing, or medical care. This form of abuse is particularly harmful to vulnerable populations like children and the elderly. Economic abuse involves controlling a person's access to financial resources, making them financially dependent on the abuser. This can severely limit the victim's ability to leave the abusive situation and achieve financial independence. Physical and emotional abuse are two of the most common forms of abuse, often occurring together and leaving lasting scars on the victim. These scars are not just physical, but also deeply emotional, affecting the victim's overall well-being and quality of life. Physical abuse can result in broken bones, bruises, cuts, and other visible injuries. These injuries can be severe and may require medical attention, sometimes leading to long-term physical disabilities. Victims may also suffer from chronic pain, headaches, and other physical health problems. The constant physical trauma can lead to a weakened immune system and other health complications over time.
Emotional abuse can be harder to recognize, but is just as damaging. It often involves manipulation, control, and constant criticism, which can erode a person's self-worth and mental health. Victims may experience anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. These mental health issues can persist long after the abuse has ended, making it difficult for victims to move on with their lives. For example, a husband who constantly criticizes his wife's appearance, intelligence, and abilities is engaging in emotional abuse. This type of behavior can make the victim feel worthless and trapped in the relationship. He might belittle her in front of others or isolate her from her friends and family. Isolation is a common tactic used by abusers to maintain control over their victims.
The impact of physical and emotional abuse can extend far beyond the immediate trauma. It can affect every aspect of a victim's life, including their ability to work, socialize, and maintain healthy relationships. Victims may struggle with trust, intimacy, and forming healthy relationships. The road to recovery can be long and challenging, but with the right support and resources, healing is possible. Neglect and economic abuse are often subtle forms of abuse that can be difficult to identify, but have serious consequences for the victim. Neglect can take many forms, from failing to provide adequate food, clothing, or shelter, to neglecting a child's emotional or educational needs. Economic abuse involves controlling a person's finances, limiting their access to money, and preventing them from working or pursuing education. For instance, an abusive partner might prevent their partner from getting a job, control all the household finances, or withhold money for essential needs like food or medicine. Victims of neglect and economic abuse may experience feelings of worthlessness, helplessness, and isolation. They may also face financial hardship, homelessness, and health problems. Understanding the causes of abuse is crucial for prevention and intervention.
Abuse is a complex issue with roots in psychological, social, and cultural factors. Abusers often have a need for power and control. They may have low self-esteem, difficulty managing anger, or a history of being abused themselves.
Social factors such as poverty, unemployment, and lack of education can also contribute to abuse. Stressful life events like job loss or the death of a loved one can increase the risk of abuse.
Cultural norms that condone violence or promote male dominance can also contribute to abuse. It's important to remember that abuse is never the victim's fault. No one deserves to be abused, and there are resources available to help break the cycle of violence.
The long shadow of abuse impacts on health and well-being. Abuse can have devastating and long-lasting impacts on the victim's physical and mental health, affecting their overall well-being. Physically, abuse can lead to chronic pain, injuries, disabilities, and a weakened immune system. Victims may also experience sleep disturbances, eating disorders, and substance abuse problems.
Mentally and emotionally, abuse can cause anxiety, depression, PTSD, low self-esteem, and suicidal thoughts. Victims may struggle with trust, intimacy, and forming healthy relationships. The trauma of abuse can affect the victim's ability to learn, work, and engage in everyday activities. They may experience flashbacks, nightmares, and emotional distress. It's essential for victims of abuse to seek professional help to address the physical and psychological impacts of the trauma.
Broken trust. How abuse affects relationships. Abuse can shatter trust and have a profound impact on the victim's relationships with others, making it difficult to form and maintain healthy connections. Victims of abuse may struggle with trust issues, fearing further harm or betrayal. They may have difficulty opening up to others or seeking help. Abuse can also damage relationships with family and friends. Victims may isolate themselves or push loved ones away, fearing judgment or disbelief. Children who witness or experience abuse are particularly vulnerable. They may develop behavioral problems, struggle in school, and have difficulty forming healthy relationships later in life. Rebuilding trust and repairing damaged relationships takes time, patience, and professional support. Breaking free. Seeking help and support. Breaking free from abuse is a courageous step towards healing and reclaiming one's life. It's important to remember that you are not alone, and there is help available. Reaching out to a trusted friend, family member, or professional can provide support and guidance. There are also hotlines, shelters, and support groups dedicated to helping victims of abuse.
Professional help, such as therapy or counseling, can provide victims with the tools and strategies to cope with the trauma, rebuild their lives, and develop healthy relationships. Leaving an abusive situation can be dangerous. It's crucial to develop a safety plan with the help of a professional to ensure your safety and the safety of any children involved.
A call for change, prevention, and early intervention. This section emphasizes the importance of taking proactive steps to address and mitigate the risks of abuse before they escalate. Preventing abuse and providing early intervention are crucial for creating a safer and more just society for everyone. It involves recognizing the early signs and symptoms of abuse and taking immediate action to support those at risk. Educating ourselves and others about the signs of abuse, promoting healthy relationships, and fostering open communication are key components. Schools, workplaces, and community centers can play a pivotal role in spreading awareness and knowledge. Challenging cultural norms that condone violence and advocating for a shift in societal attitudes are essential steps. This includes addressing harmful stereotypes and promoting gender equality, Supporting organizations that work to prevent abuse, provide shelter and resources to victims, and offer educational programs is vital. These organizations often rely on community support and volunteers to carry out their mission. Providing shelter and resources to victims is not just about offering a safe space, but also about empowering them with the tools and support they need to rebuild their lives. Advocating for policy changes at the local, state, and national levels is crucial. This includes pushing for laws that protect victims, hold abusers accountable, and fund prevention and intervention programs. By working together, we can create a world where everyone feels safe, respected, and empowered to live free from abuse. Community involvement and collective action are the cornerstones of this effort. If you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, please reach out for help. You are not alone. There are numerous resources and support systems available to assist you. Remember, seeking help is a sign of strength, and there are people ready to support you.